Welcome back to my channel, YouTube. If you're new here or you're just clicking on this video, then I'm assuming that you want to learn how to cook. You want to be a young chef, or you're an avid home cook that wants to get better. Well, you stopped at the right place. It's very important we lay down the foundation of the basics first. I need to teach you before we get into everything else. So this is gonna be very straightforward. I'm so glad you clicked on this. And let me tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Brandon. I'm an executive chef here in Silicon Valley. I've been in the profession for 20 plus years, over 10, 12 as a chef. I've had the lovely opportunity of creating content on the internet. And I've just recently felt confident enough in my ability to be able to teach others to an extreme. To make a long story short, what I realize is there's something missing. I'll post some videos that have some advanced technique. I'll post some videos that are simple to make, but there's a lot of questions and I can't respond to all of these questions. So I came up with a bright idea. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use YouTube as the platform to create a library of me teaching out of a textbook, just the cliff notes of things that I know are important and that you need to digest. That way, as I start to build, I can reference back to this library of the basics, right? Now, you may be asking yourself, why are you doing this for free? Why don't you just create a course? There's a few reasons why that I mentioned in my last video, and I just want to touch again on that. And one of them is, I think the basics of cooking should be free. I don't want to charge anybody for this. One, because I don't want anybody coming after me. I don't want anybody calling me out. Like if I give you $100 and you're not satisfied, I'd feel bad. Number two is I don't exactly need the money at this moment in time, but what I want to do is later on teach advanced culinary, and that is what I'm probably gonna do a course on. Do I know what that looks like? No, but I'm just being honest and transparent. What are we gonna do first? What can you expect from this series? So first things first, we gotta lay the foundation. I'm gonna teach you about the history of culinary. I'm gonna teach you about a bunch of stuff. The intro to culinary, that's what we're gonna call it. And this is for the young and upcoming chef. This is for the avid home cook, or if you just wanna get better at cooking, or if you kind of wanna take a dive into a chef's world. The most important thing that I recommend when anybody's looking at information on the internet, be careful on who you get your information from, okay? Now, am I perfect? No, but there's a lot of wannabe chefs out here, people who think they're chefs just because they went to culinary school and they got a degree that makes them a chef. No, they're terribly wrong, but unfortunately, it's not their fault. Culinary schools pretty much brainwash you into thinking that you're a chef right when you come out of school. Well, that's not true. Actually, you're at the bottom. You might be lucky if you get a sous chef position when you get out of culinary school, but ultimately that just puts you in a bad spot because you don't have what it takes to be a leader at that moment in time. Get your information from a professional, somebody who's put in the work. Okay, well, chef, how do I check that? Ask for their credentials, plain and simple. See if they've ran a kitchen at a sous chef level or chef de cuisine level or ran a restaurant in general. So that's why I wanna be transparent. I'm gonna leave my resume down in the description box below. Not only that, I think it's really important that what I'm doing now is I am going to use this textbook, right? So we have something to reference together. Do I need to use this textbook here, The Professional Chef? No, honestly, I can wing it. But I think what's really important is for me to teach you from a reference that's written, because I can sit here and tell all I want to all day, but it would just be my opinion. The reason why I chose The Professional Chef is because this is a good foundation of becoming a professional chef. But not only that, it's gonna make you a better cook. Now, do I think it's worth it to go spend $140,000 on CIA? No, not at all. You can just as easily buy this book, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you the Cliff Notes version, what I think is important. So we're gonna start out with intro, then we're gonna get into everything. It's gonna be a couple episodes before we get into actually cooking and techniques and stuff like that, because we have to lay down the foundation. Chef, do I need to buy this book? I would recommend buying it, but you don't have to. I'm gonna leave a PDF version down in the description box below. And as I'm explaining myself and I'm going through this, I am going to take what I think is very important for a young chef, avid home cook, the things that you need to know. And then the rest, we're just gonna to the side. Nobody's reading all this, okay? I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna tell you what you need to know. And then I'm gonna give you my opinion and my experience on it. Then you will also have a reference to look back on. And if I misspeak, you can call me out. How awesome is that? So without further ado, let's jump right in. If I'm reading something directly from the book, I'm gonna give you the page number and the paragraph that I'm referencing to so you know what to look for. If you don't got time for all that, if you're at work or something, just put your earbuds in and listen up. First things first. So we're gonna start at the beginning of the book. I found a couple things that I think are really important, and I'm going to read them directly from the book. So this is not me speaking. This is something that I think is really awesome that I want to start with. Introduction to the profession. Evolving into a professional culinarian is a lifelong journey full of learned details and years of experience. It is challenging and demanding. Specific techniques and acquired knowledge are continually tested and improved upon. The specialized training required is intricate and precise. Deciding where to begin your study is just as important as the process of learning. I really like that, and I just want to touch on that real quick because there's a lot to unpack here, but we're going to make it short and sweet. When you make a decision to become a professional chef, you have to come up with a plan. Just start out with a plan. All right, so what does that look like? You yourself need to decide which route am I going to go, or if you have no idea, go work in a restaurant first. Just go work in a restaurant. Then you figure it out as you go. Now, trust me, I didn't have all the answers when I first started out. I just got started, and that's what's really important. Get started, get to cooking. I recommend going to a restaurant because restaurants are always hiring. This is a good way to get your foot in the door. It doesn't matter at what level, you're gonna need the experience anyway. It's not gonna hurt you. It's only gonna help your resume. One thing I wanna talk about is when you decide in any profession, okay, and this is just my professional opinion, commit yourself to excellence, okay? This is so important. What does that mean exactly? Have a professional demeanor. Make sure your clothes are fitted properly. Make sure your personal hygiene is good. Make sure you look sharp. Make sure you look clean because you need to represent yourself well. Set the standard for yourself. Believe me when I tell you, the restaurant business is small. Make sure that your professional appearance is spot on, okay? Right now, I'm gonna hop on page 4, okay? This is under becoming a culinary professional. I think what I took away from here is this is really important. Start learning. Magazines, newsletters, instructional videos, websites, yes, all of it. It's very important you start to figure out what type of chef you wanna be, what type of cook you wanna be, where do you wanna work? There's so many different options. I've made a couple of YouTube videos on this before, but I'm gonna touch on it again. Start learning and track your learning. Write everything down, take notes. Now, just be careful when you're on TikTok and IG and YouTube. Make sure that you are getting your knowledge from an accredited source, okay? Now, I'm not saying I'm the best. I don't have all the answers. What I am gonna say is people are out there making content for entertainment. They are not making content to help you get better. It's just for views. Next, we're gonna hop on page 6. This was one of my biggest downfalls as a young cook. Manage your time properly. Time management is ideal. And I'm gonna read straight from the book here because I agree with this. Page 6, it's gonna be the second column, third paragraph down. In most operations, the top 5 time wasters are lack of clear priorities for tasks, poor training, poor communication, poor organization, or missing inadequate tools to accomplish the tasks. To combat these time wasters, use the following strategies. I'm not gonna go over the strategies in the book. I'm just gonna tell you from my personal experience. Time management is key. I couldn't agree more with that. Time management starts with you. Pretend you are in the military, straight up. When you get up, make sure you have what you're gonna do for the day written down. Make sure you take notes and start building these good habits. When you get to work, start a timer. When you prep something, see how long it takes you. Try to get better the next time. I know it sounds basic, but this is really important. It's gonna help you out. Let me give you a professional example. When I go to shoot content now, it's so military organized, it's ridiculous. I have my mise en place set out, I'm organized, I'm ready to go. If I need to prepare a dinner for 10 people or 20 people, you know, my organization from start to finish is beautiful because I put in the reps. I have the prerequisite to be able to execute something like that. So if you're starting out, make sure you put high priority on organization and time management. A lot of young cooks make the mistake when they start somewhere, they start one task without finishing the other one, or they have a mess. Your station is a direct reflection of you. Whether that you're at your house or whether that you're working in a restaurant, keep your space clean, make sure your tasks are organized and efficient, and we'll go over all of that in a minute. Okay, so we're gonna hop into page 7, and I wanna talk about this very shortly. You need to plan your career path. I don't recommend planning for 15 years. Think about what your 3 to 5 year plan is. From a young cook, okay, I wanna be a sous chef by 2 years. I wanna work in this restaurant by 5 years. You need to make the decision whether or not you want to go to culinary school. I made a few videos on that. I'll leave them pinned right here. You can go check that out. But it's very subjective nowadays. Do I personally recommend culinary school? No, absolutely not. You know what I would recommend? I would recommend working for a chef-driven restaurant or chef-driven group. That's my personal opinion, but it depends on what type of chef you want to be. Listen, I didn't know what type of chef I wanted to be until I was 25. I was already 7 years in the industry. So it's okay if you don't know. But for me, I wanted to be a Michelin star chef. I wanted to be Michelin level. And so that's the way I built my resume. My pedigree is gangster. But once I attained that level, I realized that I didn't want that necessarily for my life anymore. And that's okay. You can switch gears. You still have that baseline, right? That baseline fundamental of fine dining, which is excellent. But there's so many things you can do. You could be a restaurant chef. You could be a corporate chef. You could be a banquet chef, a catering chef. You can also go into food blogging. You could also do food stylist, large volume, low volume, right? These are all things you need to think about. And the only way you're gonna know is if you actually do the work, right? Get into the restaurant, get your feet wet, see how you like it, and start writing down things that you like, because I'm telling you right now, don't associate the actual restaurant business and the food chef business with what you see on TV on Top Chef and Food Network and MasterChef. These shows are just shows. They're reality TV shows, okay? They're not real life. Keep in mind, that's not what a real chef's life is like, okay? So we're at the last section here. If you are a chef already, this video is gonna be really boring. Just keep scrolling, but this is for my newbies. So hold on tight, refer back to this video. You need this video in your life. The next thing I wanna talk about is the kitchen brigade. Now, what does that mean? The hierarchy in the kitchen. There is a system set up in the kitchen that we pretty much always follow. It changes from restaurant to hotel and all these good things, but I'm gonna give you the textbook version of what the definition is, okay? Now I'm reading from a textbook, right? You can also read here and you can see where I'm referencing from. The kitchen brigade system. The kitchen brigade system was instituted by Escoffier to streamline and simplify work in hotel kitchens. It served to eliminate the chaos and duplication of effort that could result when workers did not have clear-cut responsibilities. Under this system, each position has their station and defined responsibilities outlined below. In smaller operations, the classic system is generally abbreviated and the responsibilities are organized so as to make the best use of workspace and talents. That is page 9, third paragraph, okay? So there's a couple positions that you need to know when getting into a professional kitchen, okay? A cook is not a chef, but a chef is a professional cook. Now, let that digest. A lot of people out there will say that they're a chef, right? Now, I kind of disagree with that. To be a chef is a title that's earned, but you have to have a prerequisite to be called a chef. Now, in my eyes, I'm gonna give you my example right now, and then we can go from there. You go to a kitchen, let's just say it's in a hotel. There's the executive chef, okay? That's the head of the operation, the leader in command. Then there's the executive sous chef or the chef de cuisine. In hotels, it's executive sous chef, then chef de cuisine. In the restaurant, it's executive chef, then chef de cuisine. Chef de cuisine is pretty much the top dog though. Then after that, it goes sous chefs. It goes tournat, or like in some hotels, it's either a cook 4 or a cook 1. And basically this is also known as a junior sous chef, okay? This is entry-level management. Then below that, not to get confused, it's line cook, then prep cook, okay? Everybody's job is important, okay? So just because the chef is the chef doesn't make him better than anybody else. And same thing, just because the line cook has the lowest position doesn't make the sous chef better than him. Let's get into a few of the detailed positions. You have saucier. Where I'm from, it's who's in charge of the sauces, but that could also mean sauté station. Poissonnier, okay? That's the fish chef, or we call it the fish station. The roast chef or the grill chef, the rôtissier, responsible for all roasted foods and related jus or sauces, right? The grill chef. Grill chef is responsible for all the grilled foods. Fry chef, responsible for all the fried foods. Vegetable chef, entremet. I worked entremet at Cafe Bellute. It was an amazing station. This made me dial in my prep. Roundsman, also known as the tournat. We went over that entry level. Junior sous chef is also considered a tournat. Garde-manger, this station is underrated. I think it's one of the hardest stations in the kitchen, but garde-manger is usually what you start on. It's the station you start on. The butcher. Butcher is such a unique position. It's not really common anymore. A lot of restaurants have ixnayed that position and the sous chefs usually do the butchering, but that's important for you to know. Pastry chef, equal to the chef de cuisine and also the executive chef, all equals, all top level management. Obviously pastry is in charge of all pastry. Next is gonna be the boulanger or the baker, right? Baking, that falls under the pastry category. Next, what's really important is the expediter. Expediter is a person, they're like the air traffic controller. They're on the other side of the pass. The pass is where the food comes up from the cooks. Then the expediter is the one who sends the food out to the food runners and the runners. The expediter is the one who calls in the tickets. They're like the air traffic controller. If you don't have a strong expediter, you're in trouble. Now, obviously, if you're a home cook, this is not gonna matter for you, but I think it's really important because a lot of people ask me, what are the positions in the kitchen? And so now I have a video to reference. That's gonna be today's lesson. I hope you got a lot out of this. You gotta start somewhere. I think it's really important. It makes me brush up on my textbook stuff. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, turn on the post notifications. I'm gonna have this series in a playlist, but make sure you turn on those post notifications. Share this with somebody that you think could get value out of this. This is all for free. I'm doing this for free. I'm spending my time and my effort to teach. So thanks a lot for watching.